Hello. I'm Megan.
I'm Matt.
And you're watching The Night Owl. Happy Friday.
Thursday.
Happy Friday. Happy
Friday.
Thursday. I guess
right.
By habit, huh? Yeah, so this is not an April Fool's joke. I did post a few days ago that we would be posting today because tomorrow we will be away, or at least one of us will be away. So it's not an April Fool's joke. We are posting our live video today. We had another video last week on Friday. So after this, we're going to keep posting Fridays. If there is any changes, I will still post on our Facebook page ahead of time and say, hey guys, we have to reschedule, move it around. But even if it's not a Friday like normal, we will still try to make it for one day a week for the recording because you guys like them and we don't want to deprive you of that.
So, yeah, we want to bring it to you, bring that content.
We want to grab our shots over there. We have our shots because usually we have a shot. Now I've started adding this to our Friday tradition, I guess, because it's Fridays. But since it's Thursday, why not? Right?
All right.
Tequila and Red Bull there. So every time we take a shot, it's always going to be tequila, maybe Patron, maybe another type of tequila. But we don't drink vodka here. We rarely drink whiskey. I think the white liquors are a little safer for you than the browns, even though whiskey does taste good.
Okay to go down.
Yeah. So we have a couple of topics to talk about today. But first, I'm going to introduce any new listeners, new viewers. Hello.
Hello.
We are happy that you have joined us today. Anyone that has never heard of us, we're the Night Owl. We actually are an all-inclusive podcast, which means that we talk about every kind of topic. We have guests of all different backgrounds and lifestyles and just anyone. We love everything and everyone.
Music, art, and life.
Yeah, music, art, and life.
What's either currently going on or whether it's some music we like or again kind of some idea way to make the world better a little bit just by helping out and through guests and inspiring and
now we haven't had any guests in a little while just because we've been just kind of on a hiatus with that because of COVID. But last year, I think it's because everything's picking up again now and people are going back to work. But last year, if you guys never heard of us, last year we did have quite a number of guests that we interviewed and talked to. Some of them were friends that we've known for a while. Some of them were people that we were introduced to. So hopefully by summer we can get back into doing that. And right now we're just, finding content, finding news to bring to you guys in a fun way and visual way. And then also, if you're new, every other Saturday we do a regular recording on our Anchor podcast. Yeah. So I wanted to start out with one of my topics, if that's okay, Matthew.
Go for it.
I wanted to bring up the supermoon agenda this season. Now it's been 2 weeks now or a few days now for into spring. And even Matthew and I have noticed our tree out back. We just moved here in Rogers Park last August, so we didn't get a chance to see what spring was like around here, right? And it is different than other parts of the city, I think. Aside from other parts of the city that we've lived in, I think Rogers Park is my favorite. I can't speak for Matthew.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of trees and foliage and vegetation that is just out and about everywhere without really having to go to, say, a park.
Yeah. You can just look out your back door.
Throughout the residential area. Even this place that we're living here has two pretty impressive trees. I'm not sure exactly what they are. We think the one may be a magnolia, right, with the flowers busting out here. But
I think I'll post a picture tonight of what you guys and see if you guys can respond and tell me what it is. That'd be kind of cool for someone out there to identify it. It could be easy for me to ask a friend or ask my mom and have her tell me, but I want to know what you guys think. It's like these white blossoms and the buds are like this big. They're pretty big. And then they started, I thought it was like a cotton. I thought it looked like cotton.
And
I'm like, it can't be cotton.
They're petals of some
kind. They're beautiful, round petals, and they're like big. And we think they're magnolias. I don't really know if I remember what they look like.
They're all white.
They're kind of white with like a pale pink in the middle.
So,
But I thought it was like an orchid tree, but orchids are like more delicate and they fall. They usually come out like later in the spring. And then the other tree is not the same. The other
no,
tree has
it's not.
yellow buds, and I think it's just regular leaves. So when we moved here in August, there was a tornado like 2 weeks into when we moved here, and the trees were already had leaves. And I just remember them like not understanding why they weren't being damaged from the wind, but it's because the wind was like going past our building.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so it's kind of nice to be able to experience the springtime around here. And I'm huge on space. I love space. I was born under a new moon. Matthew was born under like a waxing moon. So we're opposite again in another way. We're always opposites. Yeah, we're like yin and yang. We're good opposites. I'm evil. He's good. You know, those things. So I want to talk to you guys about supermoons. If
sour,
you guys never,
she's sweet. You know.
I'm sour. You're sweet. You are sweeter than you think you are. You can be sweet. You're just a little sassy. That's the difference. I'm kind of a bitter old man, and you're like a bitter old lady, and it's fine.
That's all right.
It's all right. So supermoons are really cool. They actually come in different colors, different times of the year, and it also depends on how the constellations are, how the other planets are in our solar systems, and then also where you're living in a certain area, geography-wise, how you see the moon, right? So like, if you see seasons change, if you live somewhere where you have different seasons, you can see the moon when it's up in the sky in a different direction than it was before. Because
can we still see the man in the moon?
I can see the man in the moon, or the goddess in the moon. Actually, the moon is a female because she controls our periods.
What kind of cheese is the moon made out of?
See, the moon is made of cheese and its hair is made of spaghetti. I didn't think the moon had hair, right? Remember that song?
Oh, was there something like that?
Yeah. But you could see the moon in different directions, different areas. And, you know, as we all know, supermoons are hard to ignore. And it could be a cloudy night.
The bulb in the sky.
Yeah. I've seen blood moons. I've seen supermoons. I've seen hunter moons, which the last hunter moon was in October of last year on Halloween. There was like a blue moon I think it was a hunter moon, which they're like super bright. Like they just light up everything it touches. Those are a little bit more rare. Supermoons are really cool. So supermoons, it says in the months of this year, they're going to be in April and May. So I guess people were saying that they were going to see moons in June, but it's just going to be April and May.
Oh, another story of eyes to the skies.
So it says another generally accepted standard is that supermoons occur when a full moon is at 90% of the closest possible approach to Earth, according to space.com. But by that standard, the March, April, and May and June's moons are all supermoons. Supermoons get their superlative name because of these full moons are brighter and larger than others we see in the night sky. NASA reports, we see these moons as larger and brighter because the moon is full at the same time its orbit reaches the closest point to Earth. It's called a perigee. So when it's like, this is the Earth, this is the moon. So when it's closest to the Earth, that's when you see the supermoon because it's obviously looks bigger, right?
Yeah.
So it says because it travels in an elliptical orbit, which is what I think we do that too, right? Because it's following us. So I think it actually goes in an elliptical orbit. The moon is not always the same distance from Earth, which obviously you know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can skip through that part. You guys all know if you're 18 or older, you know how the moon works. April's moon.
You know, it just kind of has how that tide goes in. And
how it's not controlled by wind. The waves aren't controlled by wind. It's controlled by gravity. So the April's full moon will occur on Tuesday, April 26th, reaching its fullest point precisely at 10:32 p.m., which I don't know if that's Central Time, or what time that is, if it's 10:32 our time.
Maybe it's everybody's 10:32.
Maybe, I don't know. But April 26th, you guys, just be on the lookout. I mean, I would go outside at 6 o'clock p.m. because I've seen moons at 6 p.m. So, I mean, I've seen moons even when it's at its crescent moon, when it's like a little slice, I've seen it. So April 26th is when it's at its fullest this year. And this month's full moon is called the pink moon, or this year, the super pink moon. So April is the super pink moon, which to me, I love pink. I may be a tomboy, but I do love the pink. It's my favorite color. and it's in April, which is, I consider the whole month of April my birthday.
I like pink too. I told you my story.
You do love pink.
Yeah, I told you my story of a kid, my first bite.
Yeah, it was pink, and your dad was like, no, it can't be pink. And you know, my first pink was black and white, but it was black with pink on it. Yours was pink with black. See?
Hot pink.
See?
Pink.
We're opposites. Mine was black with hot pink, and yours was hot pink with black, right? Yeah. I mean, how much more opposite can we be right now? Oh my, we're meant to be. Okay, so it says April's moon is called the pink moon after wild ground flock. Also, which is also called herb moss pink, which I told my mom this and she knew what it was, which produces pink blossoms in April. It's one of the earliest blooming flowers each spring, according to the Farmer's Almanac. Other nicknames for April's full moon include the egg moon, the full sprouting grass moon, and the full fish moon, a name common among coastal tribes because April is the month when shad, which is a fish, swim upstream to spawn.
Okay, yeah. Well, that makes sense kind of with, again,
I never heard of shad.
Is that like the seasons and where the moon is.
Is shad salmon?
It might be another name for
another name, because that's the only pink fish I can think of. Wait, guys, wait! Meteors will also be streaking through the night in April, with 2 meteor showers active during the month. The first is the Lyrids meteor shower, which runs from April 16th to April 30th. Peak activity, when the most meteors are expected, will be the night of April 21st into the 22nd. So let's recap. The full moon in April, the full super pink moon, April 26th, 10:32 p.m. I don't know if it's Central Time. You guys will have to look that up and see where you live. If you're not living in Chicago, I will look it up too. And then the meteor showers are going to be from the 21st to the 22nd. That's Lyrids. So it goes on to tell you what Lyrids meteor shower, which I knew. Did you know what Lyrids is?
No.
It says the Lyrids are considered a medium strength meteor shower, which I don't think Matthew and I are going to see it in the city because it's too much light pollution. We probably have to go to go to the planetarium maybe, because they let you use that telescope. You just have to pay, I think. It says that it's a medium strength meteor shower and they're best viewed from the northern hemisphere. Fireballs are occasionally reported with Lyrids. The best time for seeing meteors from this shower is hours just before dawn. So put your boots on, get your flashlights.
Set your alarms and get your eyes to the
sky. Get your granola bar, get your juice, your green juice. Get up early at 3 a.m. And when the sun comes, before the sun comes up. It says the ETA Aquarids meteor shower starts on April 19th and will continue until May 28th. So this other shower called the ETA Aquarids meteor showers, April 19th through May 28th. Peak activity will begin the night of May 4th into May 5th, according to the Meteor Society. The ETA Aquarids are a strong meteor shower, but they are best viewed from the southern hemisphere. Aww, that's okay. Let's go to South America.
Yes, we gotta go to.
That's why it makes sense. It has like a aqua, and probably near more the ocean or the coast. It says fewer meteors are seen in the northern, so peak activity is just the same, hours just before dawn. So I wanted to share that with you guys because I really love the moon. Aside from just knowing about space, we don't really get to see all the stars in our backyard, just looking outside. So the moon is something I really like watching and looking at.
Yeah, I mean, it's got definitely a calming presence. I feel like when you can see it, especially it's real big and bright in the sky, and it's. Yeah, you just stare at it for. You could stare at it. Sorry, I just stare at it for too long where I'm just like, I think it's talking to me. I mean, unlike the big ball of gas that we float around here that you can't look at. I mean, you can look at the moon. I mean, you can see it. Well, if you have the right glasses, you could look at the sun. Again, it's that presence that there is something more out there. I mean, there's a universe. There's a whole other world out there.
I'm going to share this. I'm just sharing the podcast on. You guys, if you see this right now, just share this onto your profile. I'm sharing it onto mine. And that's how we get more views. That's how we get more viewers. That's how we get more peeps to listen to us and reach out to us. And if you guys, don't be shy. You can send us emails, send us comments. I try to at least post once or twice a week, 3 times a week on our Night Owl Chicago Facebook, just so that we can, sometimes I like asking questions and seeing what people say, and that's always fun. And I always keep names out because I'm not an asshole, and I think it's nice to have different perspectives out there with no names attached. I think it just makes it more neutral.
Yeah, more neutral. I mean, really, anonymity is nothing wrong with that. We like that too, and just really kind of just share stories. So
exactly. So, what did you have to share with us? Anything
I didn't
interesting?
Wanted to just kind of talk about really your next thing too.
Well, I was going to talk about my birthday.
Yeah.
My birthday's coming up, so I'll be 35, which will be a good round odd number because I'm good round and odd. And 34 just seems weird. It always felt like a weird age. 32 felt fine. I think it's like 33, 34 just feels odd because you're like not 35 or 40. So 35 will be April 11th, and I wish that there were 35 days in the year, so it would be my golden birthday, but oh well, I missed that. I actually went to the Grand Canyon on my golden birthday when I was 11, which was really fun. But my birthday's coming up on the 11th, and I'm hoping to just have Matthew and maybe a close friend, and then I'm going to see my mom the day of, so it'll be nice to like see her again. And if you guys want to comment below, have you guys been able to see your family or friends during this pandemic with vaccines or without? I know we're going to visit my grandmother, but we can't see like her too long because she's been vaccinated and we haven't yet. And that's kind of a shame, but we got to get on it so we can start doing those family get-togethers again. I think that'll be nice
I think so too, yeah.
To get to do that. Yeah. What do you got?
Oh, were you going to talk about?
Later.
Oh. No, I mean, I had either something kind of music related or just kind of something more thought related based on something I've been watching here lately. So what do you think? If you remember last week, we talked about that there are going to be concerts that are going to happen, festivals that are going to happen, and lo and behold, this week I got an email from, I would say, those that are going to put on the North Coast Festival. And if you remember, usually that's held, I believe it's usually held at Union Park. And this year it's going to be held out at SeatGeek or Formula Toyota Park there in Tinley Park. They've kind of got it set up, but I noticed the lineup it looks like it is nothing. It's all electronic.
Oh yeah, we were looking at that and it didn't seem very appetizing to us. So we're probably thinking of doing, because I know that we mentioned in our last episode we were going to go to that, but I much rather would go to market days because we've never gone and we've always been asked. And apparently now, and I didn't realize, do you have to pay for market days? I've never seen.
Yeah, I mean, most of those things you have to get in.
So, that.
I kind of noted here, it's 3 days this year. The top headliners are going to be Cascade, Grizz, and Zed's Dead.
And we've heard of them.
I mean, all 3 of them, I believe, have played there before.
Louis the Child, which we've seen,
will be kind of the second act on the first day. And
Test Pilot, I think I've heard of too, but
I mean, there's definitely a few of these that I've heard, but it's going to be very heavy into that, which nothing wrong with that.
And John Summit.
If that's what you're ready for and would like to see.
John Summit actually used to remember that was one of our friends. He was like he was working here, and then he went to California, so he must be coming back to play here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's going to be all DJs, and I think it's because they don't have to worry as much about restrictions where
it's going to resemble something more like what back in the day what Wavefront was.
Yeah, I miss Wavefront. That was like 2 years and done because people were complaining about the noise, and then there was some kind of bird that was like endangered or something, or like
and they
were like couldn't have the noise anymore, and I'm like, can't you just move it further north? You could have moved it up to like any other beach, but I guess I think it was mostly just the people that were doing afters, and they were like out of control. So people like once the festival's over,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
can't control what people
it's
do
a
when
lot of
they're
Roman
partying.
people in
Yeah.
areas that didn't want Roman people at
Yeah.
2 a.m.
But yeah, you can have
Wrigleyville,
Lollapalooza downtown where it's the busiest part of the city. I don't get that. I mean, okay, but I mean, I think Wavefront, honestly, it would be cool if they just moved to like a more rural area of Illinois and they still kept it like the same. But I think that they probably wanted it to be by a body of
No,
water.
no. I mean, the thing why it was there was because the promoters that put that on,
Mhm.
they had a history there. If you go way back in the day, especially in the '90s, when there were a ton of raves
Mhm.
popping up here and there in the underground scene, I mean, that was for a lot of people on those rave nights. That turned out to be the afters was
Mhm.
again right there at Montrose Beach. So it was only fitting
Yeah.
that they have a festival kind of dedicated to those kind of artists. So I mean that's what made it really cool. But yeah, I mean, if they want to move it, that's fine. I mean, to me, it sounds like maybe North Coast is picking up that slack for this year based on all those artists. So I just wanted to make that kind of the music binge.
Well, I definitely would like to go to Market Days because we've never went. I tried searching online and I did find a page that had the dates for 2021, but there was no button or anything where you had to pay. So I don't know if they're like just letting people show up or if they're charging. I don't know. There's no like link or button or
No,
anything
probably because
that's
at this time
directing
it's a
you.
little
Maybe
uncertain. They're
it's too
probably
early.
waiting to get the final
Like
confirmation.
yeah, like there's no actual like the actual website's from like 2 years ago. It says 2019, so I'm like,
Okay.
but this site's saying 2021. So I mean, I think it's like July or something like that. It's supposed to be like after the 4th. But yeah. So like I wanted to talk a little bit about last week us ordering from Gopuff.
Some of the things that we got.
Yeah. So I just got a job at Gopuff because I was kind of tired of working for Postmates. I have to get close to you guys because I want you to see my makeup. But also, don't work for Postmates. Don't quit. Because number one, you're driving around the city or wherever you live just to find deliveries. And yes, just for being online, you get paid, but you have to go to where the food is or where the demand is, right? And then you have to sit in your car in traffic sometimes. Sometimes the orders aren't right. Sometimes you go there and there's demand, but then there's no deliveries. And then there's only peak hours. So you can't just be driving around all day. And like you think people eat food at different times. Like they say, oh, it's breakfast hour. It's a rush hour for breakfast and lunch and dinner. So there's nothing in those in between hours, like 2 to 5 p.m. There's nothing. And then Postmates is done at 9 o'clock. So there's no like late night snacks or late night foods for people to eat. And if you're night owls like me, mostly me, but both of us, sometimes we like to eat late. Sometimes we just want a little snack. So I started using GoPuff like maybe 3 or 4 years ago when it first came out, and it started in Philadelphia by these guys who were friends who were up late and they wanted to have snacks.
Kind of a similar circumstance, right? They were up late, wanted some.
And only one of their friends had a car, so they'd all pile in together and go to the 7-Eleven or whatever was around. And they decided, hey, let's just start our own thing. Let's do our own fulfillment store and help other people. So then it kind of blossomed into what it is now. So it's basically a fulfillment store, and it does do really well with COVID because some people don't want to go to Walgreens or leave their apartment. They want to feel safe, and they don't want to feel like they are going to go out at 2 a.m. to get snacks. So I started working there recently because I was like, why not? I don't really like Postmates anymore, and I don't think I'm gonna be working every time after 9 p.m. But it's safe. It's safe. You go to one warehouse or one area fulfillment center that's in your neighborhood within a 1 or 2 mile radius, and then you go to deliver the food or the snacks, the deliveries to people within that same 2 mile radius. So you never leave your neighborhood, which is great, and it's safe. You have few apps to communicate. You have apps to tell you your schedule. You have apps to tell you the deliveries. You have people, I call them, in the control center. They can see you. They can see where you're going. They can see, they're the ones that give you deliveries. You can sit in your car and wait and hang out in your car. You can hang out in the facility. So it's safe and it's more convenient, and I'm not driving around all the time spending money. So Matthew and I ordered some snacks, and I particularly ordered some cookies because I ordered these cookies a few weeks ago. And I thought, oh my God, they have these cookies. These are so good. They're local because Gopuff likes to have food and brands that are more local. And Matthew, what did you do when you saw those cookies?
Oh, I mean, I'm kind of a bit of a label reader. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think for the safety of this story, again, I don't really like to go into detail. Same thing here. I don't think I really want to mention the name of this company. But let's just say we got these delicious snacks. They had a label on them. I was reading them.
Mm-hmm.
There are laws that dictate, right? You got to have the label has to be a certain way. And for those of you that have food allergens, you absolutely know what you're kind of looking for on those labels. Well, this one particular label did not have, say, one of those allergens that it would have had to put on there, something that somebody may have an allergic reaction to. So, we talked about that, and then you kind of mentioned, well, you should say something. Well, sure enough, they had a contact page, and we reached out to them and, wrote a
No, you did that.
I guess I did. So I wrote a very brief message on the contact, basically stating, nice, like the product, but, you might want to fix this, da-da-da. And I really wasn't expecting anything back.
I helped you write it so it would sound nice.
Yeah, I mean,
friendly.
I thought maybe there would be an email back within a few days, but I would say probably within
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
I get a phone call.
And it was like 10 o'clock at night, right?
It was 20 till 9.
Yeah.
It was not.
It was almost 10. It was almost 9:30.
I mean, some people would have been in bed, but I get this call and I see this number. I go, this is strange. This is kind of local, but it's late. Who is this? I happen to answer, and lo and behold, it's one of the owners. Yeah, it was one of the owners saying, you're not the first person, you're the second person, and we appreciate this. And I'm not saying I was threatening you.
No, but it was, I helped you write it out. You used your expertise to address a situation that was a dire need.
I would say it's probably was
and that someone could have actually gotten hurt
situation.
eating these because of an allergy that was left out. And you weren't doing it to be malicious. You were doing it because it was your job. You're going above and beyond and doing something that you normally get paid to do, but you were trying to help out this. Well, you were being anal, I think, too. That's okay. No. But it was, but it was funny. It was great that they called him, and then also there were all these other crazy stuff, like just weird things that had happened during the week to me, and like universal connections to like both of us. And when that happened, it was like the world is not that small.
Yeah, because it turns out they have a place that is probably within one or two spots where when I first kind of moved to Chicago, where I moved, I mean, it happened to be
it was
right
like more coincidence
there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just, if you kind of believe in the way that the universe talks and speaks, I mean, it had.
I think that was supposed to happen. I think it was supposed to happen. I think because it was almost like you had to do it or you couldn't like get to sleep. And you don't, and mind you, Matthew doesn't do this all the time. I mean, he does, but he does it for work. You're doing it out of the kindness of your heart.
That I find this, it's not like I specifically seek
but
it
now
out.
You probably will.
I don't go to the store.
No.
But it just so happened to be, and
he does 5-second rule. Okay, if something lands on the ground, he will eat it. Okay, that he's not like a.
I think I've done 24-hour rule.
Oh my God, let's not do that.
No.
But like, I think it's like. I feel like for me, when I was a hairdresser, I've done things like that where you kind of just like want to help someone and you do it, and you don't want money for it. You just want to see that. I mean, it's not life or death. Hair is not life or death, but it's still that idea that you're doing something for someone. You're paying it forward.
We brought up last week, right? When I mentioned the comment about the kind of maybe the older person going off on the phrase "no problem," and maybe a certain generation expect that, oh, you help me, well, then I expect to give you something in return because you probably expect something for helping me. Whereas I think for many in this generation, for a lot, not just this generation, but older and young alike, it's not about getting anything back. It's just about paying it forward, putting a positive thought out there, or positive activity out there, and helping. And not expecting anything in return, and just hopefully you continue to pass that forward. So, I thought that was we had an interesting experience there.
Yeah,
so,
I thought it was interesting. And
what
the fact that he called, I mean, you left your number in there, but like the fact that he called, and I mean, it's very distraught.
and the thing is too, back in my past life, had something like that happen with who I would have been working for, that would have been a call.
Your past life or your past work?
Past work
career?
life. I mean, that would have been a call that would have happened any time of day, from 3:00 in the morning to whenever. Yeah. So
I want to talk about what you're watching, and we haven't talked about shows in a while. The last show we've been watching, I think, was Last Kingdom. We talked about that.
We've had a few shows here and there.
The Get Down, but we didn't really finish that. We didn't finish the Get Down yet. I know I guess I'm waiting to find out when The Last Kingdom's coming back. I thought it was this summer or something, but we did watch Superstore, and I'm just going to read the overview real quick if you guys never heard of Superstore. It's an oddball family of employees at a supersized megastore, Cloud9, tackles the day-to-day grind of rabid bargain hunters, riot-causing sales, and nap-worthy training sessions. Stalwart employee Amy is just trying to hold it all together despite the best efforts of her daftly clueless manager, Glenn, and his iron-fisted assistant, Dina. Rounding out the crew is a new hire, Jonah, a dreamy dreamer, sardonic Garrett, ambitious Mateo, and sweet young mother-to-be, Cheyenne. From bright-eyed newbies to seen-it-all veterans, bumbling seasonal hires, and in-it-for-life managers, they're all going to get through another day together.
So it's a setting in a retail store, something like a box store, or a Kmart, or something like that, if you remember what those are. Down in probably the suburbs of St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
So
it's great because I worked retail. I don't know if Matt, if you've worked retail. You worked retail?
I can't say
longer than a
not
year?
In a store like that. I've worked,
customer service.
I've done, Jimmy John's before. The only experience I had with I would say anything similar. I mean, it really wasn't. I worked for that importer exporter of clothes, and that wasn't in their retail store.
Well, Andy was like, yeah. Nah, he was taking money or something. I don't know. The owner was kind of shady.
He was importing clothes, and you need a license to import certain things.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a license to import those things.
Yeah, and he probably paid you next to nothing.
Or export. He was doing that with clothes, and that's it.
Well, I worked at Kohl's for like a total. I worked in high school for 2 years, and then I worked recently before I met Matthew for like, I'd say 3 years, maybe a little longer before, because I was back in 2000. Well, I met you in 2010, but 2008 was when I got the job because no one had a job back then. So like everyone lost their homes and their job. So I worked a total of like 5-6 years retail, which I mean is still a pretty good amount of time. It's not like expert level, but it's enough to see how things work and how people are, and in their natural habitat.
Yeah.
And so like, if you hang out with people outside of work that you really work with, then you see them differently too. But it's definitely, I relate to that. And I've never worked in a grocery store or a superstore, but I would imagine it's similar because they do sell clothes, they sell everything. And I've been to St. Louis. We've been to St. Louis several times, so I kind of know like lights out at 9 o'clock. There's a curfew, like. It's a small little.
It's a small big city.
Yeah, it's the opposite of Chicago. So. It was really cool watching that show, and we got to watch it. I think it came out last year.
Well, it's been on for 6 seasons, so this was, I mean, pretty much the run of it here. This was their final seasons. They've kind of had some twists and turns, and really, I mean, that's kind of what spurred us, I think, to talk about it. This was their season finale. This is, going to be it. I really appreciated, I think, the way they ended it. I don't care how people may say how sappy it was. I mean, it just...
Did anyone say it was sappy?
I don't know. It just fit perfectly to me. I mean,
I cried, and then he cried. I don't cry. I don't ever cry.
It ended the way I wanted it to end.
Yeah, and I was just like, please, a few more minutes. And then I was like, you know what? It should end this way. It was almost like it ended the way you wanted it to end, and you were fine with it. That's how I was. I was like fine with how it ended.
The fact that basically those people were going through
they're going through it together. And
I mean,
I can't say all of it.
Right, so the show ends. I mean, we've all had jobs that have ended before. So
yeah. And I can't say so much because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, because I know there are some people that have never heard the show, but I think it, alongside other shows that have been able to film during the pandemic last year, or this, they filmed it so that it made it seem like they were in the early stages of Corona, like in the actual show, when they were really filming it like a few months ago. But I loved how it like stayed with the timeline, and like other shows like SVU, like Law and Order, and other shows, they've accepted the fact that this is real. We have to include it into the show, right? We can't pretend that we live in a world where there's no Corona.
Yeah, I mean, the shows that have aired here, I mean, seeing that evidence.
Yes.
I mean, it'll be funny, I think, looking back when you start to see reruns of some of these
and people
shows.
Wearing masks, like what?
Oh man,
remember that? Yeah.
You know what year that one was?
Yes, remember that. I got you.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, just seeing that, and like, especially with Law and Order, he loves Law and Order. I love Mariska because she's Marissa. I mean, come on, next to Oprah. Like, come on, I put her next to Oprah. But anyway. Like, I love that it went along with that, and being in a store, being the essential workers. And then before that, like, they went through a strike. They had the strike situation where they were like, hey, we have to have a union. And I mean, I've just going through those struggles that like stores go through. And I can't say so much because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but I highly recommend you watch it now that it's over. I highly suggest you watch it because it'll be new for you.
Where in the pantheon of show season finales it will rank, because overall the show itself,
it was right next to Modern Family for me.
It was a really good show.
Yes.
I don't
He's
think
crying right now.
I don't think it's going to rise up to the level of like a MASH or a
Modern Family. Modern Family.
I love the way Modern Family
ended. Friends still ended the way I wanted it to end. The way the Friends. You ever seen the last episode?
Yeah, I've seen
Friends?
that.
I mean, some of those shows that like sticks with you, like from beginning to end. It's like you were part of the whole thing, right? That's how I felt when Matt and I watched it. It was like, even when when I was having a bad day, or like, I just knew it was gonna be funny. Like, I laughed my ass off at all the funny parts.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really appreciated a show that had a lot of genuine characters in it. So.
Mm-hmm. And America Ferrera, like I've never seen her. I used to watch Ugly Betty when she was like 15.
That's kind of where a lot of us probably got introduced to her. Mm-hmm. If you watched the movie, right, The Traveling Pants or whatever, right? And
then the guy who plays Jonah was in Drop Dead Diva. He was the angel. In that show. He was her angel, or her spirit guide. So that was kind of, I think he was like in his 20s in that show. But yeah, I mean, it's really good. And I don't think I know any of the actors in there.
If you know Mark McKinnon, who is the store manager, if you're familiar with Kids in the Hall. I mean, he's a long time kind of been on shows and sketches, and
he's not really related to Kate, is he?
I do not know, I would say, because he's Canadian.
Oh, man. I thought they were related. Maybe she got a Canadian last name. Yeah, so I highly recommend Superstore. It's what you're watching for us, for our podcast topic, because we still have a few other shows we have to finish, and we can talk about them. And I can't wait to see the new season for Last Kingdom, because I'm obsessed with that show, and I just want to watch it already. I just want to watch it, Matthew.
I do too.
I need my Vikings. I need my fix.
And just for the thrill. And I think maybe next time, far as on the what you watching level, I'll bring a little more something. I think it may be a little bit more, maybe not on the fluffier or lighter side, but a little bit more thought-provoking and edgier. And it's kind of, dealing with that First Amendment right. And there's some other things too that I could bring up with it. So if I'm gonna, hold that.
All right. Well, we're stopping it at the what you're watching portion. So we wanted to tell you guys we love you so much, and thank you so much for watching us. I think this is our 10th episode into our podcast, and this is like our 8th video. So we love you guys. We hope you guys stay safe, stay happy, and wear a goddamn mask. I'm Megan.
I'm Matt.
And you're watching
The Night Hour.